and welcome to this special broadcast of Battle Cry on board INS Vikrant, India's second aircraft carrier and the first to be made indigenously. Over the course of the next half an hour, we will take you on a journey of this mammoth warship and explain to you the importance of having two aircraft carriers for India to enhance its security capabilities, particularly its maritime power in wake of the growing Chinese forays in the Indian Ocean region. This is the flight deck of INS Vikrant, quite literally a floating airbase with 15 decks. Behind us is the superstructure of the warship that includes the flying control center right at the top, keeping a close watch on all air operations. This flight deck with two runways ensures simultaneous takeoff and landing at one point of time. Take a look at this report to understand what the INS Vikrant is all about.
India's largest warship. Vikrant is a 45,000-ton carrier. It can accommodate up to 1,700 personnel, including the air crews and arrangement for even women personnel. The flight deck of the warship, 262 meters in length and 62.4 meters wide. The total area, 12,460 square kilometers. With 15 decks, including 5 in the superstructure, the ship has over 2,300 compartments. The ship's top speed is around 28 knots and cruising speed 18 knots. With an endurance of 7,500 nautical miles, she can almost cover the entire coastline of India twice without any requirement of refueling for 45 days. The Vikrant in its new avatar stands tall proudly after years of toil. It's the sweat and hard work of so many that's made this possible. Thousands have toiled over the years. The Kochi shipyard that had an expertise in building civilian commercial ventures took up the challenge.
Electronics systems, warship weapons intensive system. Companies like Bharat Electronics, companies like Hindustan, HAL, BHEL, we all got together. So there's been a huge synergy in action. And that synergy, we are very happy that between us and Navy, we created that synergy in this country to actually create the belief in the country that you can actually deliver projects like this. The electrical power on the ship is 24 megawatt. 8 generating sets, each of 3 megawatt. Now this electrical power can actually, I say a city like Kochi, probably the lighting loads of the city can be taken by this system.
Refueling, without refueling, what is the distance that it can...
75 days, probably like for something which people may connect. If you sail from here, maybe you can sail up to Brazil without refueling.
So, that would be... In terms of kilometers, how much?
I will have to check it up exactly, but then it's about 75 days without...
75 days,
correct.
One can reach up
one
to
can, that's right.
This takes India into select band of 7 countries: USA, UK, France, Russia, Italy and China, that have niche capabilities of design and building of an aircraft carrier.
So in terms of maritime capabilities, operations, a second aircraft carrier, how does it change things? How does that status quo change for the Indian Navy with Vikrant coming in?
Our planners, since our independence, envisaged a navy built around 4 carriers. Whilst it was approved in principle, due various reasons, it never took off. So considering our geography, our importance of sea lanes of communication for our economy, with our economy on a growth tangent which is unmatched in the past, it is imperative that we have not just the second but the third carrier also. So what does a carrier bring? It brings a potential to undertake operations in any type of scenario, from peace to combat scenario. All kind of missions, operations can be undertaken by a carrier.
Indian Navy's previous aircraft carriers were acquired from UK and Russia. India's first aircraft carrier acquired from the UK in 1961, that was decommissioned later, was also called Vikrant. A new Vikrant is expected to live up to its name, that means victorious and gallant. As per naval tradition, ships never die. And in keeping with this tradition, the Indigenous aircraft carrier is back in a new avatar with the same name, Vikrant.
Jayam Samaha Yudhis Pradaha. We defeat those who dare to fight with us. This motto of INS Vikrant is going to be the center stage of what Vikrant means to the Indian Navy. This is a clear message that Vikrant will not only embolden the firepower of India's maritime security agencies, but will also make sure that the adversary is always 2 steps behind. The Indian Navy will have 2 aircraft carriers soon working simultaneously. A big relief, since till now the Navy had only 1. But the Navy says a third one is a must. However, military planners are not sure whether having 3 aircraft carriers is feasible. But keeping in mind the growing expansion of the Chinese Navy, will the Indian Navy soon get a 3rd carrier? Take a look at this report.
The commissioning of Vikrant couldn't have come at a better time. With growing presence of Chinese Navy in the Indian Ocean, enhancing maritime operational capabilities is the need of the hour. "30 aircraft, 18 fighter jets like the MiG-29K, Camel, and newly inducted from the US MH-60 Romeo helicopters will be operated. This will enable sea control far off from the country, both in war and peacetime. The new MH-60 Romeos are lethal in anti-submarine warfare. It will take a while before the fighters start operations. Vikrant will be combat ready by the end of the year, fully equipped with Barak missiles and fighter jets, taking off within 2 to 3 seconds of one landing.
Aircraft carriers generally are described with the propulsion and kind of launch capability they have. As we have seen, our previous 3 carriers were steam driven and we are GT ship. So this gives us a lot of flexibility of undertaking operations at extended range. Further, being an indigenously designed ship, this provides us the capability to operate various aircrafts and generate better sortie rates and better capability to evolve and execute various missions that we are tasked with.
India till now currently has INS Vikramaditya as the only operational aircraft carrier, while INS Vikrant should be ready for operations within a year. Indian Navy has been insisting for a third aircraft carrier.
The capability that we envisage is to safeguard our national interest. That, having said so, would include a third carrier to begin with. With the capability that we envisage to have, we don't have any adversary per se in our scope. With this capability, we would be able to take on any challenge, anytime and anywhere.
With 3 you mean? So with 3 aircraft carriers?
That's right. So the concept is to build capability, and if you are capable, no other adversary would think of having any misadventure.
On the other hand, the Chinese Navy has 2 functional aircraft carriers, with the third one expected to hit the seas soon. But will take a while for it to be fully operational, and a 4th one is also in the pipeline. Air operations are most crucial for an aircraft carrier, adding a punch to warfare capabilities. The challenges in these operations are unique, very different from operating air assets from land.
At the topmost deck of this aircraft carrier, this is the place from where all air operations are controlled, and we can see the 2 runways very clearly from here. This will give you an idea how exactly air operations will take place. The round circles with numbers, that says 3, it says 2, 1, those are meant for helicopters to be stationed, and the 2 runways are divided in between with a white lining. One is the red one, the other is the yellow one. 2 runways are there, one is a shorter one, the other a longer one. The shorter one for operations to be launched quickly when the aircraft can fly without a payload. But if an offensive operation is to be launched with a heavy payload, that's when the longer runway has to be used. It's still going to take at least 4 months for air operations to start on INS Vikrant, even though it's going to be commissioned, but it will take some time because the aircraft carrier has to set sail for air operations to be carried out in totality.
This compartment is known as flight control position, or in short FLICO. This compartment is responsible for all the flying related activities which are happening either on flight deck or in air. The flight safety aspect is responsible, this compartment is responsible for those activities. The movement of all the personnel, the safety of men and material, the safety of the aircraft, the landing, the takeoff, everything is controlled from this compartment.
So can you give us a lowdown on how many aircraft are going to be there on board at one point of time?
The ship is capable of carrying approx 30 aircraft in different variations, in different configurations. So at a point of time, it depends on which mission am I going for. So I can carry in the different configurations of fighters and helicopters.
With 1600 to 1700 personnel on board, this will be a mini city. They say the electricity generated just for Vikrant is almost equal to cater to the entire Kochi town. How life is going to be inside, we'll show you in this report.
An aircraft carrier is a mini floating airbase at sea which sets it apart from other warships in terms of operations, reach and complexities. From ensuring hot-cooked meals for 1,700 personnel on board to having all medical facilities. All needs are to be catered on board. Apart from the glorious exterior, the warship is a technological wonder.
Everything you look at it, there's a hospital complex on the ship. Probably the Indian Navy, because there's 1,600 souls live on this ship, and this would be, the fleet would be revolving around this vessel. So the medical complex itself spread over more than 30 compartments with a full-fledged CT scan and operation theatre, dental clinic, telemedicine. So there is a kind of thought process that's gone on this vessel.
It might not seem so at the first glance, but the length and breadth of this flight deck is equivalent to almost 2 football fields. Not just this, 21,000 tons of steel have been used in just the hull of the warship, which they say is equivalent to at least 3 Eiffel Towers. That's just a small bit of information to explain how much effort, hard work and labor has gone into ensuring this mammoth warship is all ready and set to sail.
In spite of India's glorious maritime heritage, there was no indigenous warship design or warship building capability at the time of independence in 1947. It's been a long journey. Construction started in 2006. Finally, it will be sailing within a year. The earlier Vikrant has had a glorious past, playing a pivotal role in the 1971 war with Pakistan.
Being the first indigenous aircraft carrier, it means a lot. This heralds that India and Indian Navy is able to design, construct and operate this kind of a complex warship. It itself gives a boost to our indigenous capability of warship building. Whilst you must have followed up that last decade, we have inducted numerous platforms which have been indigenously designed and developed. A case in point being our indigenous submarines, our P-15 Bravo Vishakhapatnam class and other vessels. So this is coming of age, I would say, that we have started from a nascent stage and today we are able to construct an aircraft carrier.
At the bottom of the warship is the engine room, the place that gets the gigantic warship moving. The speed at which she travels is controlled from this place at the bottom of the 15 decks. The gas turbines is what gives Vikrant the extra power.
4 gas turbines are 24,000 megawatt each, so that's now 24,000 megawatt multiplied by 4. So that is 96,000 megawatt of installed power on the gas turbines. If you want to compare this with a mid-size tanker which we have built, that tanker would be only about 13,000, 12 megawatt, 13 megawatt. So instead of that you are saying 96 megawatt installed. You look at the electrical power on the ship. This is the propulsion power. The electrical power on the ship is 24 megawatt, 8 generating sets, each of 3 megawatt. Now this electrical power can actually, I say a city like Kochi, probably the lighting loads of the city can be taken by this system.
The hangar area is around midway to the top.
There'll be at least 30 aircraft, which will include fighter aircraft as well as helicopters that can be stationed here. It will take some time for that to happen, but we'll also show you how operations will actually take place. Once the aircraft that are parked here are taken out in this area, this is the lift, and this lift will facilitate the aircraft going up to the flight deck. And similarly, if the aircraft have to be brought down, it will be the same lift that will bring them down and ensure that they are parked in safety in these hangars.
Other critical areas for operations are the electric room controlling power distribution and ship control center. Soon the Vikrant will set sail, enhancing India's maritime capabilities. Not one, but 2 aircraft carriers will be fully operational.
This ski jump is the last point where the aircraft touches before flying, and this will make sure that Indian Navy fighter jets on board INS Vikrant soar high. And when they do so, they will make sure that they keep a very close watch on every activity taking place in the high seas. That's all we have from this journey of INS Vikrant ahead of its commissioning. Here's wishing happy sailing to the entire crew of INS Vikrant as it sets sail in a few days from now. For more news and updates, keep watching India Today.